The dog wants it. Hey, welcome to Three Dorks on Demand. Today we happen to have four whole dorks for your viewing and listening
You get
pleasure.
a bonus dork.
Bonus dork, yeah.
You get bonus dork, and we are here with our normal crew. Let me just
Our normal triad.
responding to this person that's saying, "I'm trying to find you, but did you get a late start?"
Yes.
Although I still don't see us streaming on the stream.
I have it. It's up.
Huh. I wonder why it's not up on my end. Okay, well, good. As long as it's up.
Hey, we're
The
here.
multi-verse process. We've already discussed this.
Yeah, as long as we're up, I'm a good and happy man.
You're golden, Tony.
So in any case, welcome to the show. We're so very happy to have our normal cast of characters, which is where I was going. And let's start with you, my darling.
Which darling?
It's me, Nick.
I make that mistake every single time.
Oh, it's all good.
The,
I'll let you go, Ray.
the darling in the same room. It's Ray. I'm back. I'm here. It's a long week. But there's
It
a
has
lot
been
on the plate.
a lot on the
Seriously.
plate.
Mm-hmm.
Mine doesn't show live. Mine just shows the BRB logo.
I had to
Showing it.
get out of that and go back to the home screen, and then it showed up.
All right,
I don't know why.
Let me do
Anyway.
that. You guys talk.
Sean's in there.
Vamp!
How are you doing? So we also have a Nick here. And Nick brought the extra dork. Nick.
Yeah.
I did bring the extra dork. I also,
Yeah.
not only because it's been a while since I've seen
Yeah.
him, and I also know that with our topic tonight, he has some opinions. I love his opinions. I love hearing them.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very sleep deprived, so I could use all the support I can have. Having a daughter, a baby, newborn daughter, takes a lot out of you.
Amen.
Yeah.
You
Amen.
can
It
kiss
does.
sleep goodbye for the next 18
I do.
years.
Well,
At
beyond
least 18 months.
It's beyond that. Believe me.
Yeah.
My kids are grown. My kids are grown, and
Well, at least 18.
yeah, there's times.
I
where
definitely don't miss that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
definitely thought for
the
a while,
actual physical, it's taxing.
It's just it's a rite of passage. Now you know the pain.
Mhm.
It's utterly taxing, and you get it now. You just get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I've always felt like I've aged a little slower than average. Like I've always just felt a little younger for my age. I feel
Not
like
anymore.
That's
No,
an instant.
No, you're just gonna snap
I aged like
snap
3
forward.
years.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, hey Sean, how you doing? I'm glad I see you too. All right. Well, today we are going to talk about Marvel and the MCU and the state of the MCU. And we do this kind of every year. We did it every year for Con Carolina's TV, and
Sometimes multiple times a year.
Yeah.
Depending on how
Yep.
really,
Yep.
yeah, it really depends on if it merits it or not. And as of late, it has not.
No.
It has not given us any offerings that have been noteworthy and really
truly
worthy
us
of talking.
are not
about.
fans
Been a
of
mess.
eating
Been
a
a
dead
mess.
horse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with it, right? I'm done with
Yeah.
what was.
I mean, for now.
For now.
No, I mean, okay, so when we were talking off the air, Seth and I mean, he was saying that he has given up since
Guardians 3.
Guardians 3, right?
Yeah.
And
I haven't. Yeah.
I'm the
haven't
same
been
I
way.
able
have to agree.
I did say that I'm very cautiously optimistic for some of the things coming down the line, but I don't know, man. Like they just announced RDJ coming back as Doctor Doom for reasons.
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I know Iron Man was there was a variant Iron Man that turned into Doctor Doom, but I don't think they're. I don't
Are
know
they?
why
They
they would
might
actually do that, but maybe.
We
It
don't
might
know.
be.
I mean, as much as they're trying to dip their entire bodies into the multiverse and bank on that, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's such a. I mean, it's not the most obscure storyline, but it's not really a popular one. So I don't know why they
Right.
'Cause I don't know any like hardcore Iron Man Doom stands. Like,
Right.
Sean, Deadpool
Yeah.
3, you need to
Yeah.
go. You
Yes,
need to.
All right. It's, in my opinion, and it's the only offering that Marvel has this year. The only offering. They have nothing else to give us, and
man.
it's enough. It's enough to satiate me for the entire year. It was brilliant.
Listen, let me put it to you like this. Sean, if you pick a day that works with my work schedule,
See it
Bronner and
again.
I will go see it again to see it with you. That's what
I mean, if I can see and sit through Justice League and the newest
Oh, God.
Batman 11 million times,
Oh, I can't even tell you how many times this man has seen the director's cut of Justice.
So,
right? And that's an investment.
That's a 4-hour movie.
So, how many brain cells did you just like exterminate?
It wasn't even. I wasn't even. I wasn't even. You know, it was of sound state and sound mind,
Okay,
wow.
which is incredible,
He
right?
signed a release.
it's very incredible. Yeah.
He did. You know, I, Bronner, of sound, mind, and body.
Right?
Have willingly watched the Justice League more than once.
The director's cut was brilliant. In my opinion, it was great.
I thought it was,
It was
amazing.
better. I mean,
I
it
mean,
was better, but
but I'm not watching a
It was,
4-hour movie.
It
more
was
than
100
once.
times better.
I
And
know it
I
was
mean,
an improvement, but
I mean, 100 times 0 is. I'm kidding. It was definitely a lot better. It was
and
monumentally better. But
it was monumental.
What I'm hearing is you
anyway.
can polish a turd, but
only so far.
It's still
But
not-
anyway, it's not.
still
It's
the
not.
Justice League.
It's still not.
DC
It's
night.
not DC
it's not
time.
DC night.
No,
We're
no.
talking about Marvel.
MCU time, right?
Let's talk about
You know,
the dumps they have. I mean, let's
Oh, yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the absolute nightmares. And I'm getting echo from somebody.
is it
Yeah,
me?
I hope it's not
No,
me.
mine's good.
I don't think it's.
I'm getting my own voice.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too. Shouldn't be me. I don't
No,
think.
I'm okay. Well, let's go.
All right.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't
They
hear
might
it
be our
anymore.
one room type thing, but
Maybe.
maybe.
But I mean, they have. All right, sounds good. Our producer just is going to watch our audio.
So those would just be feedback
That-
on the speakers or something.
There has been numerous turds.
Mhm.
Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't even count that high. I mean, it has been bad.
Oh, it's been unforced errors like just addicted to L's for a while there.
Yes.
But I want to know why. What is the problem? We all know the source
Oh.
material is there.
Mm-hmm.
We all
I-
know that they can do great things. We all could run Marvel better than Marvel is
Yeah.
running Marvel.
Right.
I really think they just got so used to the Marvel formula working that they just stopped putting in any kind of effort to make anything
think
unique
they even-
anymore. The only
The formula.
They stopped the formula. 100% stopped the formula. How did they
Yeah.
make the Avengers work?
So
oh,
I do have some thoughts about that, right? I feel like in the first 3 phases, right, they brought in characters and they gave us movies that focused on them and developed them. Then they brought them together. They made a movie where they were together. They continued with that core cast even after that. Then you had those team up movies. Then they had their own movies, but you still had a focus. Phase 4, they decided, let's just throw a whole bunch of characters at them. They
Yeah,
knew that they were losing some of their main players. They knew that they were going to lose Iron Man. They were losing their Captain America. And those were, I mean, kind of the tent poles that the whole franchise was built up on the backs of. So you lose that, you have to replace. And I think their strategy was, let's just bombard and throw out as many things and see what works. The problem is, almost none of it worked.
yeah,
And
it was a,
None of it worked.
It's not
Yeah.
going to work because they forgot how to do what they did well. And the reason, and in my opinion, I think that they got greedy and they got impatient on it because
Oh.
how long did it take from start to finish, or even from start to when people started going, I'm fucking on board for this.
From
It
Iron
wasn't
Man
easy.
1
Yep.
to
You As much
Guardians
as
3.
right.
It's talking 2008 with Iron Man 1 and like they didn't when was Avengers was a while afterwards. Even Iron Man 1 wasn't really a huge hit at the
Right.
time.
Well, it
Like,
wasn't
it
as
built,
good as
it
Iron
built.
Man 2. Iron Man 2
Yeah.
was better than 1.
But they were willing to put in the work. And
I don't know
I
why
don't know
you're
about
doing
that
that
one,
one.
but
It made more
I think it
money,
was
but
better than Iron Man
that's a
2.
hot topic there.
yeah, well, that's true. That is true.
I think it
But
Disneyfied Sean. But
yeah, I think it did. Yeah, I really do. I think
it
the reason for me why Guardians 3 really stands out to me and is my favorite by far of anything they've done in the last several years. Not only because I just absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy, but
Where's my Groot?
it sounded or
Groot.
it felt like a James Gunn movie. It didn't feel like a Marvel movie. Marvel movies just had become just. It didn't even matter what it was. It could be a movie. It could be TV. It was variations on a theme. It was all the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the same
to
jokes
me,
over and over again.
They're
You're
just
just hitting
regular
crap.
kind of like phase 3.5, where like it wasn't connected to the new stuff they were doing. It was definitely just tying up story from what came before. And because of that, I was like, when I watched that, I was like, oh, this is really awesome. It doesn't lead their new agenda forward in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't move, but that's okay because it wraps up what was left open from what we had before.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I liked about the formula they had was they grew into their greatness, and they had hits and they had misses back then too.
Yeah.
But
They Thor:
took
The Dark World.
they took Thor, and they made him
not
great.
That bad.
They
okay?
they made him okay, but
They improved him a lot.
my thing
Wait, Ragnarok
is,
was amazing. Like,
yeah,
I love
exactly.
Ragnarok.
Once he got into the Avengers,
Mhm.
it was like a whole different Thor to me. It was like a whole different character, the whole different confidence,
Definitely.
whole different writing. It was just brilliant after that. You know, Iron Man, I think Tony Stark just continued to grow.
Mhm.
Cap was Cap.
Well,
Cap movies were great, though, I thought. You know, all the Cap movies were great.
I thought.
Yeah.
So Bronner and I had a conversation, and I posted to him like this because if you take a look at the history on, like, let's say IMDb ratings, you take the worst series, TV series, limited series, and it still consistently gets a point or more higher than most movies. And the reason behind that, why is that? It's because of the longevity. You are able to develop characters, develop storylines, and that's what Marvel put together and put out for us was a series.
Right.
You get episode 1 this year, you get episode 2 this year, and
we bought into it, and that's what people do. They buy into the series.
We bought into the series. We developed and grew with the characters. We grew the storylines. They had the patience in order to put that out. Then they said, "Hey, we've got all this success. Take this shit and like it."
Yeah.
And we're like, no, it's
yeah. They started shotgunning out a movie every 4 months, 4 or 5 months, plus TV shows, plus all this other stuff. They were overworking VFX artists to exhaustion, to quitting. That's why the VFX went down the tube. Like you got the god awful Scarlet, not Scarlet, Black Widow movie. The effects were just really bad. I'm talking about the effects. The effects were awful.
okay.
I thought I mean, aside from other issues with the series, I really didn't like the effects in She-Hulk either. But it's because everybody was overworked because they were trying to throw so much at the wall and see what stuck.
Yeah.
That's true. And they really did do way too many Disney Plus shows. Like way too many. It was like 1 month this one, 1 month this one. And they started off kind of strong. You know, you had
WandaVision,
which was really good.
Great.
I liked it.
It really got better than that.
I don't think they should have done anything.
And that came out shortly after.
I think
Loki probably is okay.
Loki, I would put Loki above WandaVision, I think, just because. But we also got 3 seasons of that instead of just
I also
one.
feel like Loki started strong. It started to waver.
Yeah.
It hit some bumps.
A little bit, yeah. It did. It didn't stick in the landing entirely, but it was good.
The Hawkeye was unnecessary.
Yeah, I thought there was there was a good idea there, but it was way too long.
Right.
Do you
Like,
think it was
make that
their
4 episodes. You're good.
of
Actually, it would have
individual
been a good
movies?
movie.
It would have made a good movie.
I mean, because if you think about it, Iron Man got his own movie, Thor's got his own movie. You know, these
Yep.
other characters don't have theirs, and they're like, well, here, let's give them cheap versions of.
But they weren't cheap.
Yeah, I guess the Hulk movie, the Ang Lee Hulk movie was technically part of the MCU, even though it
Well,
wasn't under the
separate-
banner at the time.
Norton
separate?
would. Yeah, no,
But
no.
Norton
Norton was supposed to be an
Yeah,
Avenger.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess the only original Avenger that didn't have his own movie eventually was Hawkeye.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And Black Widow got hers after her character
Eventually,
was
yeah.
out of the main timeline, so it's kind
But
of like
they delayed
hey,
that so long. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
it was supposed to be, I think, after Civil War anyway.
It was, yeah.
originally. So
I think if they would have put it out in a more timely manner, it would have had more success. Because
Yeah.
when they put it out, it felt so forced because they were
That's
catching
exactly
so much
right,
slack
Mhm.
on not having a female focus.
Yeah.
Had they put it out when they were supposed to, they would have looked like they were ahead of the game. Now they just look like they were reactive.
Right.
I think what
exactly.
Sean says is really true. They don't make us care about any of the new characters
No,
before
they
they just throw it at us. There is no development whatsoever
Mhm.
in any of them. I cannot stand the Miss Marvel at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like her
Wait,
as
Miss Marvel or Captain
Miss-
Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
yeah,
Captain. Oh yeah. Brie Larson.
yeah,
Miss
or the Marvel.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I love
Yeah.
her. She's great.
I,
But
I,
Miss
I
Marvel.
can't say I didn't really
Right.
get into the show very much, but I do like the character. I really like.
Oh, in the
The
comics,
show I
yeah.
wasn't. Yeah.
Right.
The whole
Just
obsession
great.
with Captain Marvel. I didn't
Right.
like that.
But the point I'm trying to make is that she was just so stiff and so like
Mhm.
unappealing.
And they didn't develop. Well, they started her off with fucking amnesia, which is
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
worst way to
So,
introduce
you
us
know.
to a character. If she doesn't know who the fuck she is, what's her personality? A
Yeah.
blank
Right.
slate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
She didn't have, of course,
Like,
she
Oh,
didn't have
there's-
personality.
If she doesn't know who
But
she
then
is,
again,
how the fuck am I
once
supposed
she
to?
got her memories
Right.
back,
Yeah.
why wasn't there a switch flipped?
There was
You know,
no.
you know that Thor doesn't act the way Chris Hemsworth portrayed him.
Mhm.
You know, Captain America did not act. Some of it, what he did was accurate to the comics, but you look at all of the characters; they all put their comedic spin, their
Mhm.
banter, their wit, their souls into these roles.
Right.
And she was soulless,
Yeah.
lifeless.
Oh no, yeah, because the
Yeah.
comics, Carol Danvers is just like she's witty, she's really sarcastic, like she's great. She's
Yeah.
so good. There's so many good storylines they could have done with that. But they
Or
just
just at least let your personality
They just
be that
don't-
way.
they put the Zack Snyder filter on it.
It's not even her
Ugh.
personality. The script. I mean, the script is just stiff.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
It was really bad.
And
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And then they decided
Quantumaniacs.
it needed a sequel for reasons, I guess. I don't know.
And the sequel was just
Contractual.
awful.
It was contractual.
That was one too. So
Oh,
I used to
probably,
go
yeah.
out to the movies and I would see each and every one of them. But around the Marvels, when I was
Yeah.
just like, no,
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
got that.
fucked too many times. Screw
Yeah.
this shit. And I watched it on Disney Plus, kinda. I watched parts.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like what's come out?
The Eternals came out.
The Eternals I saw on Disney Plus. It was not great. I mean, I don't think it was as bad as people give it. Like people give it a lot of shit. I don't think it was quite that
I
bad.
thought it was horrible.
Okay.
It wasn't good. Like it was not good, but
Amount of shit. It was not great
yeah,
by any means.
I think
When
there
you
was-
compare Eternals to the Avengers, because they
Yeah.
gave us Eternals right after Avengers,
yeah,
and that's what people are expecting is the Avengers. You're
I
gonna
would,
be
I
let
would,
down.
I would have lived with Guardians.
You're going to be let down every single
I
time.
mean, yeah,
They also did the exact same thing. Had they built the Eternals the way
yeah. That's the thing. Like
but
they
they,
shove.
they give you 2
How many
minutes
characters then?
of a backstory on
Yeah.
There's a ton. A metric
Yeah.
ass ton of characters.
It's the
They
perfect
kind of did. They
And
DC'd it.
They
how
did.
many characters was that? I'm trying to remember.
You can check. It's a bunch. I think it's more than 10. I'm pretty sure. But you're right. It's the problem. The problem of just oversaturating you with characters. If
Yeah,
you look
10.
at that movie is emblematic of what they've been doing as a whole brand since like phase 4 onward of just throwing characters at you, not developing them, not giving you any like pathos to identify with them.
Yeah.
No emotional resonation, like no character-driven stories. Just here we are, and let's just get through the fucking adventure and hopefully make a ton of money.
And
Go ahead.
sorry, there have been good ideas in there. Like we were talking about the Amnesia storyline. Usually I hate that shit, but I honestly I liked it in Moon Knight. I like the whole like alternate personalities, not knowing what everybody else is doing and all that shit. I really thought that storyline worked. I thought it was bloated. I thought they stretched it out way too long. It got weird at the end. I wasn't crazy about the end, but there were good ideas. They just have had such.
They didn't capitalize on it.
No, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. Like they just keep having good ideas at the core and then just like dumping it. Like, wait a minute, where's the big CGI fight? We need a big CGI fight.
There was something beautiful and relatable in there with Mr. Knight that they really should have capitalized on. Sorry, Ray, you.
I feel like, it's time to discuss the elephant in the room. And I'd like to ask the question.
She just called me fat.
No.
I'm the only one in this room, babe.
We have 3 dogs. We have a giant fucking sausage dog over there. No. Does Robert Downey Jr. as Doom save Marvel?
It does not make sense. I don't like
it.
it.
No, it doesn't.
I hate it. I hate it. Let me just get my unpopular opinion out there.
Sure.
I absolutely.
I don't think it's that unpopular. I think most people don't like it.
Well,
I think a lot of people are just confused by it.
It's
Bewildered.
amongst people who don't put thought into it. For those of us that put thought into it, it screams and leaks and reeks of desperation.
I mean, it really does, yeah.
And I just can't look at them the same. Like, yes, you have the Russo brothers on board. I was so happy for that. I was like, fantastic. We might get something good, right? And then you said Robert Downey Jr. and I went, how desperate
I was so
you?
hoping that it was just a barometer, like just throwing it out there to see what people would feel about it,
right?
And say, oh yeah, we're just fucking around. We're not serious. And that to me would have been a good like little prank.
So,
gotcha.
Is that supposed to be the replacement for the Jonathan Majors Kang storyline? No,
well,
still working on a replacement for that.
There's still a second movie.
There's gonna be Avengers Doomsday, which is replacing what that first Avengers movie was gonna be, and they're still gonna have Avengers Secret War, which is the second one. But I think they're gonna be linked, and I think the idea now is
I'm sure they're gonna be
for both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I didn't know if he was supposed to be the new like the new arch villain kind of thing, where instead of Kang, it's now Doom. I don't know.
It's Doom, yeah.
But he's going to be in the second movie though, so
I'm sure.
I don't think Doom's going to be in 2 movies. He got paid $80 million for 1 movie.
Yeah, he sure did.
$80 million.
They are $80
million in like a post credits or something.
For reasons. So there's a comic in Marvel called there's Secret War, there's Secret Wars, but then they did and there's so many different comics named Secret Wars that knowing which one they're doing is just mind-boggling.
Right.
But I think they're going to do the one, since they've been doing all this multiverse stuff, the one where all the universes get smushed together and become like the war world, and Doom the supreme leader of that. So I think that Doomsday is leading to that, and then Secret War, it's going to be that.
That storyline was such a mess.
Big giant clusterfuck.
I don't know why they were going with that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was across like every fucking book. So if you didn't pick up one book, like you're completely lost. And there was a lot of it that was just complete filler. It was really awful.
But to me, that's exactly the storyline of Deadpool and Wolverine.
No. In the words of my good friend Wade Wilson, aka enough with the multiverse.
Yeah, yeah.
Enough.
Oh yeah, they made fun of the multiverse bad.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're not going to
I'm
do
sure.
spoilers. We're not. But I had to get that off.
How is that? How is
I
that?
mean,
Um,
it's Deadpool. He breaks the third wall, like or fourth wall.
Right.
Yeah.
enough. Just
Third
Or-
enough.
I
think,
know, I know,
You
yeah.
know what? It's fun to do once, twice. Okay, we touched on it. Fantastic. But
Hmm.
once you start on it, unless you keep things pinpoint accurate,
Mhm.
you're gonna lose people.
And I didn't actually need Doctor Strange and his multiverse.
I didn't
madness
need it, but I
of
did
madness.
enjoy the effects. I mean, I thought it was put together as well as it could
I
be.
thought it was okay.
That
But,
was okay.
but
I
It could've been
honestly,
great.
I honestly liked it. You know, but I love one of my favorite horror series of all time is The Evil Dead. Seeing Sam Raimi come in with like a stealth sequel to that with I was predisposed to like that movie. So
that part was fantastic.
yeah.
That was fantastic. But the problem I had with that movie is that it was almost felt unnecessary. Like they
Yeah,
were just
kinda.
trying to
I mean,
cash cow it, like just milking the
it-
cash cow.
A little
It
bit.
kind of bridged the gap and told us a little more about how Scarlet Witch got to that point, but it also made her like really fucking evil. So
Really
I don't
bad
know.
villain, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of character development from WandaVision very quickly, and
Yeah.
with the key excuse, the flimsiest excuse being she read an evil book. Now
Right.
she's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
evil.
She gets the dark hold. Oh my god, so dumb. So dumb.
I gotta go back though to the Doctor Doom thing because I had some real hot takes on that. When I saw that, I was like, okay, so I get why they're doing it. They're doing it for hype, and they're in need of hype. They're doing a Hail Mary. Jonathan Majors is disgraced. They had to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Okay, but here are my problems. Okay, so if he's playing Victor Von Doom in the 616 universe, if he's just happens to be playing a guy that looks exactly like Tony Stark, but he's a completely different character, that doesn't make sense. So more than likely he's playing some form of variant. Well, if he's playing a variant version of named Victor Von Doom from another universe who's not Tony Stark, that's fucking weird. I mean, that's just bizarre. Why does he look exactly like Tony? And they've already kind of done that with some characters. Like, spoiler alert, we've got a Chris Evans looking character in Deadpool who might not be Captain America.
Yeah. Are we sure though that it's gonna? Are we sure he's not just gonna be masked the whole time?
So I don't know. He might be.
It would kind of make it would make very little sense to have Robert Downey Jr. and then put him in a mask the whole time. The whole fucking time.
Right.
But,
unless they're trying to fuck with someone and say, "Wow, that's Iron Man is Doctor Doom."
Like putting Kate Blanchett and all that shit and Shaun of the Dead.
It's probably another universe.
Not Shaun of the Dead.
Hot Fuzz. Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man is what I think we're all assuming because I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
but here's my problem with that. Victor Von Doom as a character is one of Marvel's greatest villains and can stand on his own 2 feet. He doesn't need to be Iron Man. He is a character.
Victor Von Doom exists in the in the 616 MCU. Like he's not been on screen or anything, but his name has been dropped. Victor Von Doom already exists.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, he was in
thing there, right? Even if you're gonna do the reveal where you're like, oh, the Doctor Doom is actually a Tony Stark. Oh, that's crazy. That's a cinematic reveal that has been spoiled by Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like having him take the mask off, all the impact of that could have happened on the silver screen is done. For marketing.
You know, I wanted to be positive. I wanted to be optimistic that maybe the MCU is turning things around. We hear the Blade's going to be R-rated. Mahershala Ali is still attached, even though that's been in development hell forever. And I think that he's an amazing actor, so if he actually is Blade, that's going to be great.
Right.
But then they shit all over it with this fucking Robert Downey Jr. shit. Oh, God.
And you know, I have to agree with Nick because Victor Von Doom is one of my favorite Marvel villains. I think that he is fantastic. I think he's very complex. I love the story. I love the backstory. There's a lot to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he needs his own storyline. Do I think that
I would watch that
as much?
That would be fresh.
I'm going to lose some people here. I love Robert Downey Jr. I really do. Do I think he's the right person to play Victor Von Doom? No,
not at all.
He is a phenomenal phenomenal actor. Do I think he's the right person? No.
No, he can't.
He
I've
is
never
the
seen him.
quintessential
Tony-
Tony Stark.
Tony
Yeah,
Stark
yeah.
aside, if he had never played Tony Stark, I still would say I don't see him as a Doom.
No,
I can't.
he's just not. He doesn't have that like menacing like gravity. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have the presence. Like he's always the.
He's not angsty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I need my Doom to be a little more emo. Like,
yeah.
Talk of
I-
Romani Erasure making him Robert Downey
That's
Jr.
also
for
true.
Dr.
Yeah,
Doom.
that is.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's,
that's very true.
That's from the chat. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely. I mean, I don't.
I just can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love you, RDJ.
Yeah.
You're fantastic.
It's disappointing, and it's
No.
obviously they're just doing it for like they had to pivot at the last minute. The reports came out that at their last like MCU summit that they were talking about replacing Kang with Doctor Doom,
Yeah.
and you know they brought back in the Russos, which honestly I think is a good choice because they're good directors and they can make good movies. Maybe they'll take a turd and they'll turn it into a fucking sculpture. I don't
Who
know.
works the magic with that turn?
I just, I'm not excited about anything else that's coming our way. Thunderbolts, not exciting me.
I mean, I
I'm
will
not
fuck with
excited.
the Thunderbolts. I like the Thunderbolts are fun. Like that's a great team in the comics.
I would like to
wanna be
see
excited.
how they're going to do it, but
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll also throw that out there. I love the
Tentatively.
too, Seth, but
Yeah.
the team in this movie is not the team from the comics.
I mean, that is true.
Maybe Baron Zemo might be
I
in
mean,
it behind the scenes. Maybe.
Maybe they'll pull a Suicide Squad and just murder all of them at the beginning.
That would be a
that
hell
was
of a
brilliant.
That was
That was actually
fantastic.
brilliant.
That was.
There you go, Marvel. You just there.
That was quintessential gun. That was just amazing. I loved it.
It was.
Yeah,
so
no, it was great.
I mean,
It's
I
so
gave
good,
it a
so
standing
good.
ovation. I
So-
mean,
Also, watching Pete Davidson get shot in the face.
That was
I
highlight.
loved it.
That was
I'm like,
highlight.
bro, you've been in so many movies. You don't need to be bam.
I like Pete Davidson, but like that was kind of
Oversaturated. Like,
So
can you
does-
say Timothy Chalamet shit or what is his
Chalamet?
name? Chalamet should be the next one to go like that.
So hey, let me ask y'all something. Since we're pretty agreed that Robert Downey Jr. is just not the guy, who
Yeah.
would you say is who would be your ideal Doom? And I'm putting on your spot here.
You know
I
what? This
haven't
is
even
kind of
thought.
controversial to say that, but from the Fan 4 movie,
The first
I
one.
liked Victor Von Doom in that movie. I thought he played great character.
I'm trying to remember his name.
the writing was god awful, but yeah, he had
God awful.
He was a
But
good.
he was.
He
I
did a
mean,
good job with what he
aesthetically, did
had.
really good.
Yeah, he did.
He was
He
was
did
the
a
best thing
pretty
about
good
the
job
movie.
with the material that he had. Like
He
you
was
know,
dark. He
yeah.
was angsty.
Brooding.
Yeah, very broody. And I'm pulling it up because I can't remember his name. And I do like him because he was in Charmed.
Yeah, he was a demon.
Julian McMahon.
Yeah.
But I think he's the right
that.
style of what I would look for in a Doom.
Ooh,
not
I
the
like
right
that.
I
Oh.
would
Mads
say
as Doctor Doom
Mads-
would be
but-
great.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen 15 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you're right.
I would be on board for that.
Age wise, that's why I
Yeah.
said that there was that guy from the originals, Elijah, who played in the originals, the movie, the TV show. He would have made a great Gambit,
Daniel Gillies, I think.
but he's just a
He's
little
too old
old.
now.
He's just a little older now.
yeah.
And they need a 20-something person to be that character if they ever bring that character to life.
We'll discuss Gambit later. In the meantime,
We can't discuss
Yeah.
it later.
So
we're not going to talk
for-
about Gambit. I'm a little mad.
I
right
like
now.
that Mads though.
So-
I'm really mad
For-
right now.
for my
Especially
pick,
if he just
Watching the
wears a
movie
mask the whole
that I
time.
watched.
I think it'd be a great opportunity for like multi-dimensional like crossover, and just get Art the Clown from Terrifier to be Doom, and just throw him in there.
All right, Sean.
Just-
I absolutely
I don't
adore-
mind that. I don't hate it.
I would
I mean,
leave
I think
my husband for
it wouldn't be any worse than what they're doing now.
That was hilarious too.
Sean hasn't seen the
gonna,
movie.
We're not gonna
We're
give you
gonna
any
discuss the
spoilers,
movie.
but there's a
But does the fact that
hilarious point. in that.
Deadpool is now officially Marvel do anything for you?
Oh, I mean,
I mean,
It added some flavor.
that's
it really does.
we
I
obviously can't get the spoilers on that movie, but like, I think some people were expecting some things to happen in terms of like some universe merging and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I said no. There you go.
it's kind of its own thing.
It is its
Yeah.
own thing, and I think
Yeah.
it's going to stay its own thing. I think what they did opens the
likely.
doors for like cute little cameos,
Mhm.
but I don't see like another merge. I think the
I-
Wolverine thing was about as far as we're gonna get with Deadpool.
One thing
never know.
one thing I'm hopeful for is that it might show Marvel, Disney, probably not, but it might show them that like people aren't looking for the same old like whitewashed cutesy stuff anymore,
Yeah.
and like actually put some spice to it. And,
Put some
and,
seasoning
like,
on your
We've
chicken.
matured
right?
as film
Yeah.
goers. We've
I mean,
matured.
really. And like
I mean,
having
we watch The Boys. We watch Harley Quinn. We watch
exactly, yeah.
we watch
Yeah.
adult content.
That part.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and like having Blade come out, like confirmed to be R-rated, I think that's a really good step. I really liked the Werewolf by Night special on
Yeah.
Disney
That was
Plus. Like that was my
We gotta see that.
that's really like obviously that one like it was a little more sanitized, a little more PG-13, but still really
Super
really
well
good
done.
atmospheric horror. Like it was very good. I'm hopeful they do more of that and less of
Exactly.
Robert Downey Jr. as Doom for some reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And along those lines, like, so Daredevil Born Again, that was a project that looked like it was going to be awful. It looked like it was going to take a steaming dump on the good legacy of the Netflix series. And then they went back to basics. They saw that it was shit, and they were like, let's do over. And from all sources are saying that that's actually a lot more faithful to the old Netflix show now. It's treating that like it's continuity, whereas the other one was going to be a full reboot with similar, like the same Daredevil and the same Kingpin actor, but a different universe, different versions of them. That sucks.
Less brutal, less.
Yeah, they scrapped that though, right?
Yeah,
So
and I've heard that the Punisher sequences in it are going to be like properly R-rated.
Good.
Guess we'll see.
Hopefully.
I mean, it's the Punisher. They should be, but
I mean, there's no other rating for the Punisher. So.
I mean, there shouldn't be.
It's like
But,
Deadpool. You can't
mean,
make him PG.
I think the last I heard, oh god, what's his name? The guy that played in the Netflix series.
Oh, I don't
Shane,
know.
whatever his name is.
Yeah, Shane from I just can't think of his name. But
Shane from the Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. He's still attached, I think.
He is attached, I think.
Yeah.
From
Oh,
what
wait,
I've
you're
heard.
talking about the guy who plays the Punisher?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of his
John
name. Okay.
Bernthal.
John Bernthal. There we go.
Yeah.
Everything I've heard says he's still going to be the Punisher, and like
Good.
he was
There's
pretty
some
cool.
continuity at least.
Yeah. It sounds like they are, except for like getting rid of Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Like those can
I
stay.
keep Luke Cage, but Iron Fist, they can just pretend he didn't exist. Just
I'll keep
100%.
the first half of the Netflix Luke Cage series.
Although season 2 of Iron Fist was better than season 1.
it was, but it also focused a whole lot less on Danny and a lot more on Colleen Wing, and I think
That's
that
right,
was part
Which
of
is
what made
probably
it
why
better.
that's probably why
Yeah.
it was that
Probably
way.
why I got where it was.
Yeah, and I mean for that matter, like as we're talking about those the first season of Jessica Jones with especially for David Tennant's.
Oh, I loved it.
Man, like it's so good, so good.
I loved it.
Good.
Yeah, I like that
I mean,
one.
that was must-see TV in my
Mhm.
opinion. I mean, that
It
was
was.
nothing. There
And-
was nothing wrong with that.
And they just have not had that in so long.
know.
I think mainly because they just like we were saying earlier, they've just been shotgunning out so much, and a lot of it, like there have been a couple good things in there, but how many people saw the Werewolf by Night thing Like how many
Yeah,
people
I
saw
mean,
that?
I even
or-
know about it. Like
or
the
didn't?
marketing on that.
Yeah,
Stuck
no, it wasn't.
fast.
It wasn't marketed, and like the people that saw it probably like another shit Marvel
Regurgitation
thing.
crap.
Like I'm not gonna
Right.
skip this. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
I'll be honest. I didn't even finish Moon Knight. I was so disappointed.
I did. I liked
it was all right. It was
It was,
they
it was worth getting to the end. I
I
think.
had
but,
higher hopes. I
you
guess.
did have higher hopes for it.
yeah, it. I really enjoyed.
A lot of people actually liked it.
Oh
Don't
man,
you like Secret
thought it was
Invasion? I'm
overall
telling you.
good.
I'm forgetting names like
I'm gonna cut
crazy.
you.
What Secret Invasion?
Secret
Oh hell
Invasion.
no, hell
Secret
no,
Invasion was
That
shit.
that was garbage.
Oh my
Oh
God.
no,
100% garbage. I mean, it's in
Yeah.
the Miss Marvel category
How-
for me,
How do you ruin Samuel L. Jackson?
or Captain
Like,
Marvel.
not even Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson.
Right?
Like that. Like
That
seriously,
motherfucker.
it kind of.
Yeah,
There is a scene in that where they're at the end and it's supposed to be an emotionally powerful scene
Oh, yeah.
where like he has his I don't know. I don't care if I spoil Secret Invasion. If you haven't seen it, I'm
No,
doing the
don't do it.
surface by
screw
making
it.
If you
No
haven't
one,
seen it
no
by
one
now.
wants to see it.
So he's like, this whole time he finds out that his wife was actually replaced by a scroll, and he's been married to a scroll pretty much his entire marriage. And then they're at the end, and it's like he's kind of come to accept that he is in love with this scroll woman. And so he like has this kiss scene with her in her scroll form. And if that had been like done well, then that could have been like a really powerful moment. But instead, it was laughable. It was funny. I burst out laughing watching it, like just rolling. Like, this is how you're ending this piece of shit. This is hilarious. So stupid.
Yeah.
It was not good.
So
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's get the wheels turning in the brains a little bit here. Is it that Marvel is not giving these characters a chance to grow and to develop, or are the fans not doing it?
How we don't have the source material to do it.
Yeah.
Because
So why is it be our responsibility?
Yeah, I don't know.
well, okay, so we're talking Moon Knight, right? Was it a blockbuster success? No. Was it good? Yes. Nobody gave it a chance, and now we're not going to see any more of it.
I mean, it was pretty popular at the time. It wasn't like didn't go crazy.
Well,
but,
I'm not saying nobody gave it a chance, but
yeah.
But like it didn't merit a second coming of
Is it-
Moon Knight.
our expectations that have changed
See,
because we've
that-
been given this stuff and we
No,
forgot that we had to
They've-
suffer through Thor
Yeah.
to get
They've
where we
removed-
are. We forgot we had to suffer through
One
these other movies.
Shang-Chi. When Shang-Chi came out, the fandom was very positive. Was like, hey, this was
Yep.
really good. This movie was great.
It was-
I liked it.
With him afterwards, and the fandom was open and willing to accept it. Miss Marvel, similarly,
Yep.
she was in her own project. People liked
Mhm.
that. Then she was in a shitty movie, and despite how bad Miss Marvel was, everybody says the same thing, which is that she was the best part of it. So like the fandom's been willing to accept some of the parts that are good and even just like plow through the shit to try that kernel that they can grasp on.
I
But
just play
Marvel
devil's
just didn't-
advocate.
They just haven't been serving and delivering the way they used to. They've even unlearned one of their lessons. So back in like phases 1, 2, and 3, one of the biggest criticisms was that some of their villains were stale. They didn't do a good job of developing the villains, and they were kind of forgettable. But then they started fixing that. You had your Lokis, you had Thanos.
Yep.
Fucking
Thanos,
those were
the best.
the focus, right? But then after that, it's like, what do they have? What villains have we had in season or in phases 4 and 5?
Right.
I honestly,
terrible.
and this might be, I don't know if this would be a
I agree with
controversial,
that.
but this is controversial. Oh, somebody. Okay. I really liked Ethan Hawke's character in Moon Knight. I didn't think he wasn't going to be a recurring villain. He wasn't
too.
going to show up after that one. But I also really love Ethan Hawke, and I think he did a really cool performance. But it kind of, just kind of got squandered by the giant CGI god fight at the end. Like that made no sense. I don't know. But the thing that really confuses me is they'll keep going with some projects or some properties when I don't know, like there's just nothing there. They just kind of try to keep milking it forever for reasons, I guess. But Moon Knight was decently well received. It had a good it had a following.
Had
It
good
had-
ratings, good
It had
critic
good
critic
ratings. It
reviews.
had a star that really wanted more, and they're just letting it go. They're just like saying, "No, we're done." Yeah, why?
Right.
Why? Why does that make sense? Not only that, but Oscar Isaac is, a very bankable star. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like too
Absolutely.
expensive or something, but I don't know. But like that,
I would
and
love to be a fly on the wall of a Marvel corporate.
Yeah.
I mean,
meeting.
I just want to know who is making these decisions,
yeah, I don't know.
and their reasoning behind it. I need a tell-all book
Mhm.
that lets me in the reasonings behind what they do, because I simply don't get it, because they have a formula that worked beautifully. Um, if they continue with that formula,
Yeah.
Thunderbolts can be great,
Yeah.
Not
or
Lightning Thunder, but Thunderbolts. Got it.
I still have hope for Thunderbolts. I have hope.
I mean,
I
it
hope
ca-
so too.
Yeah.
it's
I don't know.
it's sad,
It'll
though,
probably be
but-
garbage, but
It does include their bad version of Taskmaster though, which is
it does.
really
It does.
upsetting.
Oh, it was so
the
bad.
only thing that I can say that the Deadpool Wolverine movie redeemed Marvel somewhat in my eyes. I thought all hope was gone.
I'm not gonna say redeemed. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
I was reminiscent. When I left that movie, I remembered what Marvel was capable of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will not say that they're redeemed, but
I
No,
think
no.
that if that's the only thing Marvel puts out, I think that's fine with me,
we
because it
can't
was
think
good
it-
enough.
fail if you only put out one movie.
Yeah. I think it'll depend on what they do next. Like what's their next project that comes out.
Right.
If it's more of the Ant-Man schlock, then no, it's like it was a flash in the pan good thing that we all knew was coming, because they were going to make a Deadpool movie again. Like, yeah, so they
I
pushed
did
the
not
cash
hate
button.
Ant-Man. I liked Ant-Man. I hated
that's a good
Ant-Man
point.
and the Wasp, and I hated Quantumania.
Okay, that's what I meant. That like the new one.
Right.
The first Ant-Man was solid. The new
Right,
Ant-Man's
solid.
yeah,
Yeah,
Ant-Man.
the decline of
Yeah.
the Ant-Man was great, but which was great. I can't even give you spoilers, but there's some reference that's just
There is.
wonderful.
So
Yeah.
Sean says that there's an expectation that content is only good if people immediately rush out to see it. It doesn't allow for organic growth and popularity over time.
Yeah.
And they have to understand the world is
Guardians
not the
was
same
organic,
It
by
was.
the way.
Yeah.
as it was pre-COVID.
Especially with day and date releases, things coming to streaming way earlier than they
Right.
used to. People are just waiting to catch on the couch. I
Right.
don't have a problem with that in most cases. There's
Yeah.
some things that are spectacle, like if you have the chance to see Jurassic Park in a theater, go fucking do it. It's
Oh, I'm
amazing.
doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're getting the 3D glasses, okay?
Oh yeah. There's some spectacle films that are just better in a theater. That's the exception. That's not the rule. I think, in my opinion, at least.
Plus, you also have to understand, the movie ticket prices are 4 times
It's-
more than they
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And
You know,
if
people
you
have
want to
to
get a
pay gas to
soda
get
or
there.
something,
It's like 30
Yeah.
bucks for a matinee today.
yeah, it's ridiculous. And they wonder why theaters are losing money. Anyway.
And if we're going to bring that into play, you think about the state of the economy when COVID was at its height. People were willing to throw money away for entertainment,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
people spent money like it grew on fucking trees.
Yep.
Because they had
Now
money.
they know it doesn't grow on fucking trees, and we don't have nearly enough of it. They're
Oh, yeah,
going to be
inflation's
very
like-
stingy with it. So unless
Oh,
you
yeah.
give me
There's no stimulus checks coming.
quality,
No. And the
I'm not gonna-
inflation's down, but the corporate greed is keeping everything sky high. It's terrible.
Well, and
Um,
your content is split up over
Yeah.
4 or 5 different streaming services. So in
Mhm.
order to watch the shows that you want to watch, you're probably paying like that money that you would have had set
Yep.
aside for like this month I want to go out to the movies is going into HBO
Yeah.
Max or
It's just
Or
becoming your
Hulu,
cable.
because I don't
Yeah.
have Hulu and I want to see
Yeah.
The Bear, or you know what I mean?
Oh, they're so good. Anyway,
The Bear is very good. Yeah.
they're so good.
Uh,
But okay, so back to the question. So Deadpool and Wolverine, was it a great movie? I would say yes.
yes.
Will it save the MCU? No, but it
Not by
never should have
itself,
been
no.
the expectation that one
Right.
movie would have to save an entire franchise that's a sinking ship. It's a great movie, but it's a one-off. And the MCU really, like, they need to get back to the basics. They need
And
to
it
get
felt
back to
it
Oh,
felt
the
like a one-off.
path.
If they keep going with more, like, they don't have to all be like desperately irreverent, like super like like you don't have to be like that. I feel like that's the risk, because Marvel tends to like zero in on something that worked
Yeah.
and then just keep going at it until it just is, nobody wants to see that shit anymore.
They're
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
a bit
overplayed.
worse.
Yeah. If they keep, if not the same, formula, but like a similar tone and like, go a little more mature with things, I think it'll do better. I think the MCU will be in better shape. If they make everything Deadpool, like, no.
If they learn their lesson, they will.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said was pretty accurate, though. I mean, it's a one-off, and it should be a one-off.
And after watching the movie, I think they basically tell you it's a one-off.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it has one-off written all over it.
And
Yeah.
some of the, I'm talking earlier about different properties and things that needed time to grow a fan base, and it's don't really have, like, think of how many movies and series over the course of time didn't really start off that strong, but like with physical media sales or extra showings and things, like they built up an audience, and that just doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
If it doesn't hit on opening weekend, it's trash, and they won't come back to it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, they don't allow it to build any momentum whatsoever. Word of mouth to spread. They don't allow any
Yeah.
of that to factor in.
I'm super depressed that they've like, I really enjoyed the new Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes.
It did well, like critically, it did really well. It didn't quite make the budget back, but they also spent way too much damn money on it.
Oh yeah.
But because it like didn't
Because it
do
took a
$1
little
billion,
time to catch on.
yeah, because it wasn't like a cash cow. They've just eliminated all of the planned series and sequels. It's all gone because they have no patience.
Right.
You know, and I'm
So-
thinking a little bit about Deadpool and Wolverine too, about this idea of, because like a lot of people are going into this being like, oh, this needs to save the MCU, this needs to be the thing, but like it's more like a love letter and an end cap to the Fox era of movies than it is any sort of
Ooh.
continuation of
I love that.
the
Very well put.
Disney Marvel stuff. Like the characters that are in it that it focuses on, without giving too many spoilers, the good, the bad, are all from the Fox line.
And the
of movies.
ugly.
That's true.
It's not the MCU versions of characters. So it was never going to be about like reinvigorating the MCU. It's about bringing something that came before to something of a close.
Mhm.
I just wanted it to feel like Marvel was putting something that was noteworthy out again.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted, and it delivered that. That's, I guess,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that was your expectations going into the movie.
I know I keep going back to it. The only other movie that they've announced so far that I really think could hit that is Blade. I'm really want to
so
see it.
excited for Blade.
It sounds different. It sounds like not a Marvel movie.
I need a Blade.
And when the best thing you can say about your like universe is that the best movies don't feel like they're from that universe, it's a problem.
With your
Right.
universe.
So, okay,
Yep.
let's go around the horn and just answer this question. If you were the CEO, what would you do? What would you put out? What is your next move?
All right, I'll go first. Controversial take. I know that they just announced Doomsday at Comic-Con. I would scrap all of that. I would not try to rush Doctor Doom. I would say, hey, let's just say that phases 4 and 5 were a transitional phase. Phase 6 is the start of the next saga. We're gonna make Doom the focus of that entire thing. We're gonna make him the through line. He's our Thanos. He always should have been our Thanos. I'm sorry, Kang is obscure. A general audience isn't gonna be attached to that character. Doesn't matter how good the actor that played him, who's also a abusive piece of shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. None of that.
Great actor, terrible person.
Yes. create a through line, get us there. Then also think about who are our core Avengers. Yeah, Avengers. Who are going to be the core Avengers that we are going to watch? They're going to be our protagonists. You can have some other projects that aren't them, but who are they going to be? What movies are we going to make that focus on them? How are we going to bring them together and make this feel like an actual fucking brand instead of just throwing shit out there and expecting money?
You know, because otherwise it'll just be like a Justice League.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to talk too much about that, but I do want to say, like, what the hell? Like, Jason Momoa is not Aquaman in anybody. I mean, he should have played like Lobo or something.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Right, you should have never been Aquaman. You know, I could see Chris Evans playing Aquaman before I could
Jason,
see
yeah.
Momoa playing Aquaman.
Mhm.
But everything else, like Wonder Woman, great movie. You know, like it led up into that movie. You know, I thought it was a great movie. I loved
It's great.
Superman.
3/4
versus
of a great
Batman.
movie.
I loved that movie. I loved.
Okay, Martha.
I loved them all except for
No.
Aquaman and the Flash and all those
Oh,
movies.
God, The
But what
Flash,
I'm saying is that that's what they did. They just like expected us to really have a special kind of love for these characters
Mhm.
that we didn't fall in love with.
Right.
There was no love affair there.
Yeah.
I can't love the characters if you don't give me something to
So
love.
what would you do?
Me?
Yeah, Marvel
Oh.
CEO, go.
CEO of Marvel. Okay, so the problem that I have is that what I would do is so contradictory to so many of the things that I've said. I have said that I am tired of the oversaturation of redoing the same characters over and over and over again. The problem that I have is that I feel like this group of characters has not been done well. I think the Avengers are done. Dead.
Yeah.
The Avengers are done. It is too recent, it is too fresh, it is too new. And if you try to redo it, you're going to offend your entire fan base, right? But what you haven't done well at all is X-Men. You've done one X-Men. Any type of justice. One. And I feel like if they actually just, well, I'm the CEO, so if we take the formula that we did with the Avengers, and instead of going, here's an X-Men movie with 20 X-Men characters, and you're going to get 25 seconds of a backstory for each one, I'm going to give you this character.
Analogy.
I'm going to give you Gambit, and I'm going to give you his backstory. And I'm going to
Channing
give you
Tatum.
a complex character to lead you into this wonderful, complex group of individuals.
Yep.
And then I'm going to give you decent fucking villains. Decent, thank you. But it's going to start with the character that everybody has been asking for and nobody's given. I don't care if I have to scour the earth and line people up and inspect them to find the perfect Gambit. That's what I'm going to do.
He's out there.
And it's not going to be fucking Channing Tatum. It's
I
not.
love it. He loves it. He's so happy. He's so
not
happy.
No. No.
To be Gambit.
Jesus.
Let him have it.
I'm angry.
I mean,
Make the poor boy's dreams come true.
I'm going to give you a conceit. I think that our plans kind of align. I'm with you. Go with the X-Men, not the Avengers. Go with the X-Men. They've done a really shit job, by the way, with their rollout. They've had access to these characters for how long, and they fucked up because we don't have them.
The only characters that are
they Storm. That's how about they fucked this.
They're not mutants anymore. What can we say? I don't know.
So I think honestly, because it's there's a lot of similarities. Because you do have a lot of variants to choose from. You have a lot of characters to choose from. You have a lot of backstory and complexities that can be translated and be very relatable to the fan base. And I think that it's something that deserves to be done well.
Let me ask you a question. If you brought in the X-Men and pivoted to the X-Men, which I fully support, I think that would be awesome. There's so many great stories with the X-Men. There's not a better ensemble cast in comics, in my opinion. Um, would you keep it part of the same current like 616 MCU universe, or would you make it its own thing so it's not like weighed down by the events of the the universe?
Um, I feel like on paper I would leave it as the 616 only for continuity and to ensure that we're not playing multiverse madness and screwing things up. But I would probably not be doing like crossovers and cameos,
Right.
and I would still leave them
I
as a separate unit.
you keep it true into it unto itself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right. What would you do, Seth?
I honestly I think I would go one of two ways. Like hit kind of I guess you would consider it like a soft reboot, but it also just like absolutely get rid of everything and just have the first 5 minutes of Robert Downey Jr. Doom, and then the Annihilation Wave hits and murders everyone. And I really love the Annihilation Wave storyline.
I would pay $80 million
so much fun.
to see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the first Annihilation Wave, especially. And I think it would be kind of cool to have that, so you can like basically wipe this. They say all this stuff happened, but we're wiping the slate entirely clean by just killing everyone.
Mass genocide. Got it.
Yeah. No, but then you can bring in the unfortunately named Richard Rider as a captain. Yeah, I know. They named the character before that was a thing. But before that meant that. But like also just a great storyline there. There's a lot of ideas you can mine and go more cosmic, because in my opinion that's the only thing that's worked recently, and then eventually come back to Earth once it's been long enough that it's just a new crop of people. Like it's time has moved on. Yeah. The other way I would go is just like a complete like separation, like take a break from the MCU for a while and just go way smaller. Like work with A24, work with some of these smaller things, and do like more intimate, small scale, way less expensive, like 20-40 million dollar movies that do something new, something different that we haven't seen. Like actually do a horror movie instead of just having Sam Raimi be goofy for like, I love Sam Raimi goofy, but
Right.
actually a real horror
Campy
movie.
is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's the king of camp.
Because like when we think about the MCU, the highlights are the ones that broke the formula. Like Winter Soldier became the spy thriller out of nowhere that no one expected. And like that's everybody loves that, and everybody points to that it's just a spy thriller in the middle of a superhero film. Like why? So lean into that. Like give us superheroes, but in different
like genre
experiences.
films.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think that their most successful projects basically were like it's a genre film with superheroes.
Yep. Well, you could even go and do like what was that? They did like an Old West version or some shit. I don't remember. But anyway, like
Old West is fun.
I think that if I was either the MCU or DCU, I would
MCU. We're talking MCU.
I would do the dark stuff. I would do the Dark Avengers.
Most
I would
definitely.
do the Dark Justice.
Annihilation Wave.
I mean that's
Brood.
To me. I mean that's what I want to see. I want to see dark and really like I don't know
Gritty.
Stuff that has so much depth to it that you're like calling to get out of.
I think honestly one of my main issues with a lot of the recent movies is that there has been no tension. There's been no risk, with the exception of Guardians 3. I really thought they were going to kill some folks. And like there was real tension that people were going to die. And it was the most emotionally effective but like then you go to Quantumania, and there's just no
And
way that any of them are gonna die. Like that's not gonna happen.
It was like Johnny Hollywood. It was
Yeah,
It's bad.
it's just like there's no investment. It's just like I guess I gotta
Yeah.
watch this so I know what's gonna happen in the next Kang thing.
Right. I guess I have to watch this just so I can see the end credits.
Zombies
Yeah,
only
exactly.
work if they're Sam Raimi zombies. That's all I'm saying. I'm over
No,
zombies.
no zombies.
I
Unless
do
it's
think
Sam Raimi.
zombies have been overplayed unless they brought something
Although
like
I am
really
going to
new
watch
to it. I
Shaun
don't
of
know.
the Dead. I'm going to
Oh.
watch the new Shaun of the
Oh
Dead.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
obviously,
Watching
I
obviously.
the
can't
new
wait.
Shaun of the
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
All right.
well, that's
was
a
that-
wrap, I guess.
Yeah.
We did it, and because it's our shows, we went over.
'Cause
We could
fucking
talk for
sound like
another
we also started late. So.
57 million.
Yeah, we had a late start.
We
You
did
get
get a
this
late start,
many
and I
people.
really apologize for that. This is only our second episode, so we are
We talk too
still
much.
getting some technical difficulties. But when we're passionate about a subject, we can talk about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And
very
we are nerds through and through, and we want success. I want it to be successful.
I like watching nerdy stuff. I don't want to watch crappy nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And I love your take, Seth, about having like a A24 studio.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
so
Do like
Did a-
really cool, intimate, like,
about a Nightcrawler has-been hotel crossover.
yes.
Ooh.
I love me some
No,
Nightcrawler.
I do.
I also love me some Hazbin Hotel. That'd be a
Yeah.
weird crossover. Though.
It'd be really weird.
Is Nightcrawler
I
crying
can
the
see
whole
it though.
time?
I
I
mean,
can
see-
is it as
Only
Asmodeus?
Sam
So-
Raimi directs it.
All right. Well, that does
On
it.
that note.
Hit us up on all our platforms. You know, you can go and subscribe to this channel. You can go in our Facebook page,
Facebook,
BRB Network.
all the good
I'll
stuff.
have our website up and running soon. Our TikTok will be ramped up here soon. We're just waiting on our friend here to have a minute or two to get that going. But yeah, our Discord is there, so join that.
Hop
Check us
in,
out on
check us
Discord
out.
for updates.
And you can find us here every Thursday at 7.
7-ish,
7-ish.
7:10-ish.
6:58.
But with that, peace, love, and thank you guys.
We're out.
Thanks, Seth, for joining us. As always,
Thanks for
we
having
love
me.
having you.
You're fine.
Been too long.
4 Dorks on Demand is better than 3.
That's it.
The more the merrier.
All right. Peace
Good
and
night,
love, people.
guys.
Peace, love.
Take care.